Well, still very damp conditions here at Le Mans as the Group C cars thread their way around the field, and what a great collection of cars you've got. Mercedes, Jaguar, Porsche and Nissan. And Neville, quite interesting qualifying in the dry, a couple of fires, and
it all happened, didn't it?
Coming out of all that, a Le Mans regular, Gareth Evans.
Yep, Gareth Evans, the Mercedes proving to be the class of the field, which I'm not surprised to say that they are the class of the field, actually, because they're two beautiful cars, and they really are going superbly. You might want to know the difference between some of the Porsches here. The 962s, we're going to be seeing several 962s. They're slightly longer wheelbase than the original 956, but the one big name we've got here, and he's there, and he's driving, and he was down and around about 10th place during the course of practice, is Derek Bell.
So Derek Bell then making his return. I was here in 1982 with him, Rothman's Porsche. He'd already won 2 Le Mans at that stage, went on to win 5 times. Chris?
Now, we saw very quickly a shot of number 111, the Spice of Mike Donovan. Look out for that car. I think that car could do very well. Don't forget, this race is 45 minutes or 10 laps, whichever is the shorter. And these cars have limited fuel tanks. The Group C rules were fuel consumption rules. You could have whatever engine you wanted, but you only had so much fuel to do a race on. So it could be that the bigger engine cars use more fuel and have to back off a bit at the end, and the Spice comes through.
And of course, added to that, the Spice has always been famous for being such a nimble car, particularly in the wet. And that car Robin's driving was one of the factory Spices that won here.
Yes, and he did extremely well at Donington in an earlier race this year. So watch out for that car. We've got some fabulous cars there. The 2 Mercedes.
And Neville, just look at that picture. We're suddenly transported back 25 years.
Exactly. You know, you look at the Mercedes and you look at the Lancias, which are considerably older.
Yeah, never raced against each other, of course.
No, but they're terrific cars.
Yeah, the pretty Nissan there, one of the factory cars from the 1989-90 period. Really beautiful Lola-built cars, but just as Nissan started to find their feet, started taking podiums away from Le Mans, they pulled the plug. Typical Japanese.
Yes, and there's there are 2 Nissan R90s here today, and both claim to be the Mark Blundell pole-setting car when he did when he pulled out the radio mic, the radio link that told him to go slower. The Japanese telling him to go slower. He just kept his foot in it and did an absolutely blinding lap.
You can see that on YouTube. You can see it on Daily Sports Car. It's linked everywhere. It's all come back this year, of course, because of that Nissan racing here in the Group C Legends. And here we are then getting ready. Now the track has dried considerably, but there's still very heavy black skies hovering over the Sup, particularly down where we are.
It's a lot drier than it was. I was just going to mention that Charlie Ag had one of these Nissans, and he said to me, you know, all I have to do is to turn the wick up a little bit. 800 brake horsepower, they reckon, in qualifying form.
Watch out also for Steve Tandy in the yellow from a Nissan. He had an electrical problem in qualifying, and the transponder, which shows the pits, how fast the cars go, what lap time it's doing, wasn't working. So he's right at the back, but possibly one of the fastest cars.
Right, so that 31 car on pole with Gareth Evans, Bob Berridge in the 62 car, the other Merc, the 1989 Merc C9. Gareth Evans' car, of course, a year later than that, the C11, and just everyone getting into form. Why is Bob Berridge ahead of him at the moment?
I'm not quite sure of that. Bob Berridge had problems in practice, so this is going to be very interesting. But again, as you were saying earlier, Mark, in the warm-up, it's wet. Almost all of these cars are on Dunlop tyres. Dunlop supply the series. It's not obligatory, but they do supply the series. So they won't have been out on this circuit with these tyres on, so it'll be an interesting thing.
Yeah, Roger Wills, of course, has had a lot more practice than the rest of the guys here in that Lancia. He is racing in the main race as well.
Yes.
In the 24 hours itself, so he's had quite a lot of running on the track, but of course, like the rest of them, none of it in the wet.
Yeah, he probably went out in the wet session earlier on today, I don't know. Might have done.
Kent Abrahamson in that beautiful Nissan, the number 28 car. That 28 car is one of the 1990 R90 CKs. That's another run by Nissan Motorsports Europe under Tetsu Ikazawa and David Price in those days, of course.
Yes, and I think you were somewhere around there as well, weren't you, Mark?
Yeah, for 2 years I was Nissan's Motorsport press officer for Group C, and lost my job, of course, when they pulled the plug. So
Tetsu, I remember flying well.
Oh yes, he used to fly well in Formula 3, didn't he?
He did.
So we're coming up to the start of this race. It's a 45-minute race, as you've heard. Also, there is concern about the fuel. Can these cars go the distance? Of course, if it's damp or wet, yes.
Well, it looks as if they're going to get themselves all lined up nicely. The pace car, they might have gone. I wonder if they might have gone a lap behind him, but they've not. They're all lining up, and somebody's spun coming out of the chicane there. I think everybody missed him.
It's Mike Donovan in the Spice. Yeah. Oh dear, I put my mouth into that one, didn't I? Foot in it.
Look at Gareth Evans going right round the outside of the Lancia there. He just dropped back a bit at the start, and Bob Berridge, I think, crossed the line first, although he wasn't on pole. But anyway, doesn't matter. Gareth Evans now leads.
Oh, that was interesting, because Mark switched me off briefly as I looked up through what is a cloud of mist now, because this is where the spray is coming from, and the spray, of course, will build up initially until the cars are less bunched. But of course, we've got the Mercedes out there in front, and the $64,000 question is who's going to be the chaser, who's going to really try and make up a little bit of time here. We thought it was going to be possibly the Spice. We're not so sure now.
Yeah, Bob Berridge in that. We're a bit confused here, because we're being shown on the screen that it's Berridge in the 31 car, but all our entry lists show it's Gareth Evans. Have they swapped round?
Yes, I think they have.
We think they have.
Yeah, we think they have. So let's just be clear. This is Bob Berridge now leading from Roger Wills, with poleman Gareth Evans back in third place, and right behind him Kent Abrahamson. Then in the 21 car, that's the Paul Stubbers Australian Vescandon. That's a strange car. We never saw that racing here, did we?
No, it never. This car has been bought over from Australia for the first time. It only ever raced in Australia, and there's one of the Jägermeister ex-Brunn Porsche, followed by the Vern Schuppen Iseki 95962, which won the Japanese championship twice. But Mark, look at that. There's Kent Abrahamson going past the Mercedes on the straight.
That's Nissan Power, isn't it?
I think that Mercedes seems to have a problem.
Is it Power, or is it perhaps taking a little bit, easy, because we don't want to use all the fuel, gentlemen? Oh dear. That has been a big coming together.
Right. We might even...
Which is going to see, I suspect, certainly a pace car out of something of the sort.
Debris Everest is under braking. Yeah. Oh dear, it's a big accident there.
Yes.
And that is Mike Donovan's car. That's the Spice that was on the C2 pole.
And he's taken out one of the other I think it's a Tiger as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
there is a lot of debris about there.
Yeah, well, we don't expect accidents like this in Group C, do we? And Mike Donovan then climbs over the wall.
Driver out.
Yeah, he's
okay.
But there's a lot of debris here, and we're going to have a safety car for sure for the next couple of laps.
If not a red flag.
Yeah.
Well, the shards of fiberglass and things like that play hell with your tyres.
Roger Wills.
Therefore, we could see even more problems happening there. Drivers obviously know. Yellow flags are out.
Well, I'm assuming a safety car's out, because Roger Wills, as you saw, was weaving to get heat into his tyres. No, perhaps not.
Yeah.
No, it looks like they're back up to racing speed at the moment, I think, but they're probably not quite sure what to do, are they? We've got no message.
It's a full course yellow.
No message from race control about that yet.
Yeah, but
we've got more around the circuit, so quite right. Quite right.
Yeah, it's full course yellow.
Yeah.
So
we couldn't stop the race director talking during the warm-up, but he seems to be strangely
silent.
Quiet, hasn't he? Very quiet. But look at this, how iconic. I mean, that Lancia, to most people's minds, those Lancias in Martini colours, probably amongst the most pretty-looking racing cars.
It was such a pity they just didn't last. They were blindingly fast, and driven by fabulous. There's the safety car.
Yeah, I can remember.